Hey everyone, how you doing? Namaste. Welcome to Yoga with Dave, class number 121. If it's your first time joining, a wholehearted welcome. And if you've done 120 classes with me, then well done for sticking it through. Probably I'm the only one that's done 120, right? Actually, I've not done that many because the lovely Carolina covers for me now and again. And Carolina taught a couple of weeks ago, so hopefully you enjoyed her class. She's upstairs here at the moment and she's doing the sound healing. It's nice to be in this lovely space, the Space Breathe Collective in Leicester. This not-for-profit yoga organisation, which I'm part of. And it's a really lovely place to host you guys and to teach you guys for the Virtual Village Hall Royal Voluntary Service. I hope you've had a lovely week so far for the amazing content that the Royal Voluntary Service Virtual Village Hall put out there. And yoga is just a small part of that. So well done for making it onto your mat. That's always the hardest thing, right? Is committing to your practice. And if you've made it this far, you've committed to your practice. And do you know what? Even if you stay here for a minute or two, it's still a yoga practice. It doesn't have to be this 45 minutes or 40 minutes, whatever we'll do today. It can be just a few minutes. Find something that works for you. We were chatting last week and I remembered that someone was talking about yoga and taking the weight off knees. Someone was saying that they've got an arthritic knee. So we'll try and do as much stuff today as possible, not on our knees. So there'll be no cat-cow, there'll be no child's pose. So I'm going to think on the fly and think how we do this part. So this part at the start of the class, if you want to sit in a chair, you can feel welcome to do that. I'm sat over a bolster at the moment. You can't see the bottom part of my body, but you will soon, everyone. But right now, you find a comfortable seat. Sit on your settee, lean up against a wall, find some length in your spine, whatever works for you. Hi to you, Margaret, good old Northumbrian Margaret. It's really lovely to have you along, mate. So this book that I've been reading this week, I went to a festival at the weekend called Timber Festival, where I was teaching yoga. It's in the National Forest, which is on the Leicestershire-Derbyshire border, and there's lots of amazing stuff going on there. Eco Festival, and there was yoga, and I was part of the yoga offering. And this woman called Naomi Anand was there, and she's written this book called Yoga, A Manual for Life, and she did a talk. And she did some yoga. It's a really beautiful book. I love this book. It's really accessible and there's some really amazing content in it. But this first bit I wanted to read to you. What is yoga? That's what it says. What is yoga? I see Margaret's from Burton. There you go. So I was really close to Burton on Trent. All right. So what is yoga? So what a lot of us, and you've probably heard me talk about this a lot in the past, that people get obsessed with yoga. They get obsessed in terms of it's a physical practice. It's all about being flexible. I'm not very flexible. I'm not very good at it. It doesn't matter whether you're flexible or not. It doesn't matter if you're good at it or not, because there's no good and there's no bad. Yoga is just a way of being, a way of life. And in the West here, what we normally concentrate on is the physical form of yoga. And that's what I teach, right? But yoga can be so much more than that. So I'm going to read this little bit to you, and then there's a little bit I want to read at the end as well. And in between, we will do some physical yoga, I promise you. So what is yoga? This is what Naomi says. She says, this is one of those questions that when you sit down and properly think about it, it quickly engenders another more pertinent question. What isn't yoga? Okay. It says, because when you really get into it, when it starts to open up new ways of seeing, stimulates new ways of thinking, yoga quickly stops being something that just happens on the mat and expands to embrace all facets of life off it. Spiritually, philosophy, morality, compassion, selfhood, and love. However, I'm going to focus on the physical practice, since that's where most people find their way into yoga, their entry point, which for some will turn into a lifelong journey. But even when you choose to concentrate on just the physical aspect of yoga, you quickly realize that there is no one yoga. There's dozens of yoga, each the product of the practices, many lineages, it's different focusing approaches. And so again, we'll just look at probably the yoga today. We don't have to worry about different lineages. And what we do, hopefully in my classes, is we just get curious about our body and our breath. And then we just move in gentle ways just to kind of open ourselves up. She says, for me, the physical practice of yoga is mindfulness in motion, flowing breath-led sequences that open up layers of perception and remind us that we are embodied souls walking alongside others just like us. And then she says, unsurprisingly for many people, this radical focusing of their attention becomes a springboard for a new kind of relationship with themselves. They become more self-compassionate, more accepting, less quick to judge themselves. And when this leads to becoming almost necessarily more compassionate towards others, more accepting, this social implication of this can be startling at the level of the family or the friendship group, and I believe genuinely at the level of society. For those people, yoga becomes a way of life, a tool of personal transformation. Of course, this doesn't happen overnight. It's not a 30-day challenge. It doesn't promise instant miracles. It's not a green lime juice or a fast or a quick fix. It's a set of practices that might over time become life principles. So sometimes when you get on your mat, right, especially probably with me, you probably think, oh, it's not really doing it for me, right? Or I don't feel like I am fully embodied. I don't feel like I've had this big spiritual shift. And that's because we keep needing to turn up onto our mat. You know, I talk about those two Sanskrit words, abhyasa and vairagya. Abhyasa, regular steady practice. Vairagya, release the outcome. So we're not trying to get anywhere. We just keep getting on our mat and we start paying attention. And the way I like to think about yoga is it's a really compassionate practice. And what I'm thinking about when I'm on my mat is I'm being kind to myself. I'm being very curious about how my body moves, but I'm not judging how my body moves. It's going to move the way it moves, right? And I'm just being very, very conscious of my breath and seeing where that takes me with an open mind. And it might not be mind-blowing, right? But you might have a lovely experience. It might be just a time where you just chill and relax and you give a little bit of time to yourself, even if it's for half an hour or so, even if it's for 10 minutes, it doesn't matter, all right? So that's where we are today. So we'll do a little bit of yoga. And we're going to stay in a seated position. So if you were on a chair or, you know, wherever you might be, that's cool. Maybe you want to adjust. Maybe you want to have a little move around. I'm going to go back onto my mat and then we can start this physical practice of yoga. Everything's looking good here, I think. I'm just going to sit actually on a blanket. Let me just move this blanket back. And if you have things like blankets, oh, mate, they're so good. So you can kind of roll them. You can kind of put them in this sort of shape. You can sit on a cushion or a pillow. But as I say, find a position that works for you. Draw some length into your spine. And just sit in a cross-legged position if that's available for you. And if it's not, as I say, sit in a chair. It's all good, right? Sit in a chair. Find something that's really comfortable. Place your hands on your knees or your thighs. Draw some length into your spine. And then just drop your attention inwards, just for a small amount of time. And notice how your breath feels. Now, you can close your eyes here if you want, or you can just soften your gaze. And you just begin to breathe into your body. And maybe for the first time today, be very conscious of your breathing. And notice how your breath feels in your body. And then a nice thing to do, just to focus the mind, is to track your breath. So maybe as you take an inhale, you feel the attention rise to the crown of the head. As you exhale, you feel the breath go all the way out through the soles of the feet. And just do that a few times. We won't be here for too long. But just a little grounding practice here at the start. Today we're going to keep it pretty relaxed. Notice where you're holding any tension. Can you release it just by using the breath or bringing a little bit of awareness into the breath? And then just take 2 more complete rounds of breath. Make them really gentle. Don't force the breath in any way. And then if you did have your eyes closed, then just very gently open your eyes. Nice, beautiful. And then if you want to bring your legs out, bring them out, give them a little move to either side. Just kind of drop your knees down, windscreen wiper, the knees to either side. You can still be sat on something here. I'm going to stay propped up on this lovely blanket, a lovely Mexican blanket, which they use a lot in American yoga studios. We've got a massive pile of them over in the corner over there. They're really nice. And then come back to a seated position. Any way that works for you. Beautiful, nice. And then a little bit of movement through your neck, nice and gentle. Just draw circles with your nose. Think about your nose And then maybe match the movement with breath. So inhale as the head comes up, and exhale as the chin falls down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. If it feels okay, close your eyes. If it feels reasonable, then just find a rhythm that works for you. If you want to pause at any point, then I encourage you to do that. Feel free. And then when you're ready, come back to center, just swap it out. Maybe the first couple of rounds are really cautious. Slowly working into your neck in the opposite direction. If everything feels all right, maybe you just speed it up just a little bit. Noticing any kind of tight spots, any areas that really need a lot of attention, a lot of love. You can do that by using your breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, bring your head all the way back to center. Beautiful. We'll do one more posture here, then we're going to stand. And what we'll probably do today is we'll probably get up and we'll sit down quite a lot, just so we don't get too uncomfortable. So with this one, we're just going to begin to deepen the breath a little bit. So fingertips press down into the floor. If you're sat in a chair or if you're sat in your settee, then that's fine. You can just bring your hands down. And then this simple movement, inhale the arms up. And then the palms touch if it feels okay in your shoulders. And then as you exhale, bring the hands all the way back down. Nice. Inhale up. Exhale down. And you just move at a rhythm that works for you. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. And if you wanted to, you can make it super slow. Maybe inhaling here. Maybe exhaling here. And just notice how your body moves. It's interesting, when I see myself on camera here, I always do this, but one of my arms moves at a different rate than the others. And I know that that's more to do with my shoulders. My shoulders are in balance, and we sometimes hold tension in the body. And however much I try and balance my arms out, for me, it feels like they're moving down at the same rate. But one shoulder is probably a lot tighter than the other. So just notice those imbalances. So we get to kind of witness how our physical body moves. It's really about curiosity now. And maybe your arms begin to ache a little bit. Inhaling up, palms touch, exhale down. Let's do 3 more together. And then if you wanted to, maybe look up to the hands if you haven't already. Exhale down, 2 more. Inhaling up. Exhaling down, and then final one, inhale all the way up, and then exhale, bring the hands all the way back down. Nice, beautiful. And then just give the shoulders a little shake out, a little wriggle, whatever feels good for you. And then we'll come to stand. So if you're sat in a chair, here's your opportunity to get up. If you're down with me on the floor, then a good opportunity to get up here. Let me just move back just a little bit. I'll move this mat backwards and forwards a little bit so you can see where I am. So feet are about hip width apart. And then bring a little generous bend in the knees. A little generous one. And then bring your hand onto your heart. And so I'm going to ask you to just swing your body open in a nice, flowing, freeing way. So inhale the left arm to the left. Exhale right arm to the right. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And you just find a rhythm that works for you. So your feet are firmly planted and the movement just comes from your torso. So you feel it in your belly, you feel it in your back, you feel it in your hips, and the arms kind of drive the movement and the breath drives the movement. So if you want to breathe a little bit deeper, you can do that. And if you want to make it slow, then feel free. And maybe you keep a bend in the elbows, or maybe you lengthen the arms out. Inhale left, exhale right. And when you use the breath here with a little bit more intention, and what I mean by that is the breath's a little bit deeper and you can hear your breath in and out through the nose, then hopefully that brings a little bit of energy into your body, especially in the afternoon. This class comes at 2:30, and that's when a lot of people kind of feel a bit of an afternoon slump. It's when I like to have a little snooze most of the time. But today we're energizing ourselves. Snoozing's good, right? But yoga's good as well. So finding that balance, finding what we need, slow it down, and as you do it, drop the arms. So you kind of just let the arms swing, and maybe the backs of the hands just kind of tap onto your glutes. That's a nice little massage into the back of the body. Nice. And then come all the way back to center and have your palms face forward. Reposition your feet, then move a bit wider. Take a deep inhale. And then a full exhale. One more like that. Deep inhale. And a full exhale. Nice. And then you're going to stay in the center of your mat. And if you want to, just going to clear my mat a little bit here. A bit of hair. Again, come with the feet. You don't have to move at all, but I'm going to move to the side, so I'll show you what I'm doing. Feet are bent, and then you inhale up, and then you exhale down, but really gentle. But look how much my knees are bent here, because I don't want to strain my back. And you just move in a rhythm. Inhale, exhale. You don't have to come down deep, and please don't make it forceful. Be really gentle, but let the arms swing. Inhale here, exhale here. So you create a little wind system around your body. It's always taking care of your spine. This one's called Paint the Aura. And these two poses, the twist, and then this where we're kind of folding in and out with the breath. These are very, very energizing. Three more times. Inhale up, and then exhale, bring the hands down. Do that really slowly. Keep breathing, you might feel a little bit lightheaded. And come with the palms so they're face forward. Feet about hip width apart, and then just breathe. And then from this point here, bring your right hand on your heart, your left hand on your heart, your right hand on your left hand, and then just breathe. Maybe close your eyes and just notice the energy in your body. See how you're feeling here. And we're going to mix it up with standing, sitting, and pranayama. Pranayama is just breath control or breath practices, breathing practices. So come to sit back down again. I'm going to bring my mat over and come a little bit closer to the camera. And then we're going to balance all that energy out. So breath, it's not just yoga, it is yoga, right? Breath is everything. So let's realize the breath in the body. First of all, let's just remain still. Bring your palms so they face up, and then see if you can just bring your thumb and your forefinger together. Create that little energy seal. Maybe close your eyes and just let your energy settle. So notice how you feel now you're sat back down. And again, if you want to go back into a chair or lean up against the wall, as long as you've got length in your spine, as long as you're nice and relaxed through the shoulders, your face is super relaxed, you're in a good position. See how deeply you can breathe, but do that without forcing your breath. Maybe the breath feels a little more open in your body. Beautiful, nice. And then keeping your eyes closed as you go soft, bring your hands up and then bring your hands onto your temples, just at the side of your eyes. And then just give the lightest of touch onto your temples, side of the face. Notice how that feels, and then maybe move into your forehead and see what sensations that you're working out here. Maybe it's the warmth of your fingertips, maybe it's the touch. See how nice this feels, a little face massage. Then bring the hands down onto your cheeks. At this point you might be thinking, this is a bit weird, but just notice the sensations. What does it feel like? I've got a tiny little bit of stubble here, so I can feel that. I've got warmth in my cheeks, and then maybe down into your chin, maybe your ears, nice little massage out there. Nice. And then maybe down into your neck, kind of just give your neck a little massage out. Beautiful. Nice. And then just all over. Give yourself a good rub of your face. Nice. And then rub your hands together at heart center. Create a load of heat in between your palms. And keep rubbing them just for a little bit longer. And then if it feels safe, reclose your eyes and then place the palms over your closed eyes. And then quickly blink your eyes open. Now, hopefully you feel some heat rush into your eyes. And just rotate your eyes a couple of times one way and then a couple of times the other way. And then from here, just bring your hands down. Nice, everyone. The face massage is a nice thing to do, right? A little bit of touch. And when we massage the face, when we touch the face, it calms our central nervous system. And I can't remember if I was saying this in the class last week, but on average, we touch our face 23 times an hour. And remember, during the pandemic, everyone was like, stop touching your face. And it was really hard not to touch your face, wasn't it? But what it does is it's inbuilt in us to calm us down. So when you do feel stressed or overloaded, sometimes you see people and they're just gently touching their face. So some people do a little bit of tapping. I don't know anything really about tapping, but I know that for some people it really calms them down. So find something that works for you. It feels really good, doesn't it? But another thing that feels great is obviously breath. So we'll get into that now. If you want to adjust, feel free. I'm just going to bring my other shin in front so I don't have that imbalance in my hips. And then we'll do something that we've done a lot before. So this is a very balanced and calming breath. It's called Nadi Shodhana and it's alternate nostril breathing. Right hand up, block off your right nostril with your thumb, and then take a deep inhale through your left nostril. And then switch it over with your little finger or ring finger, close off the left and exhale through your right. Other fingers can be tucked in if you want. Inhale through your right. And then close off the right with your thumb, switch, exhale through your left. Inhale through your left. Close off your left, switch, full exhale through your right. Inhale through your right. Close off the right with your thumb, exhale through your left. Inhale through your left. Close off your left with your little finger or ring finger, exhale through your right. Keep length in your spine. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Inhale through your right. Close it off, switch, exhale through your left. Inhale through your left. Switch it, exhale through your right. Inhale through your right. Switch, exhale through your left. Stay relaxed through your face. One more complete round. So inhale through your left. Switch, exhale through your right. Inhale through your right. Final time, close it off, switch, exhale through your left. And then slowly bring your right hand down and then just take a couple of balancing breaths there and see how you feel. What we're doing there is we're balancing the left and the right side of the brain. Left side is a lot more calming, so we think about parasympathetic nervous system. This is rest and digest. And then the other side is right-sided, which is more activating, which is sympathetic, which is kind of like fight and flight. So a lot of the time we spend in our right side, and the left side is probably the side that we're less familiar with. But again, if you feel anxious or overwhelmed and you need to calm down, instead of thinking your way through the problem or the anxiety, get into your breath, right? The breath is so important. And with that in mind, we're going to do one more breath practice. So I encourage you, however you're sat, and it can be on the floor with me, or again, it can be somewhere else, somewhere where you feel comfortable, where the thought patterns are not going, oh, I feel uncomfortable. Find somewhere that feels really comfortable. And then come back to that position that you were in previously. Nice. So we're going to do this really lovely breath, which we did a few weeks ago, and it's called a physiological sigh. Okay, we're going to use our teeth to do this. So I'll show you what it looks like. You take 2 inhales and then you breathe out through your teeth. It sounds odd. And the inhales, one of them is very long, and then the other one is short and sharp, and then you exhale through your teeth. So let me show you one round, and then we'll do a few together. So you inhale through your nose. Little pause, and then another inhale, sharp, short. Little pause, and then grit your teeth, and then exhale through your teeth. All right, so that's the rhythm. So let's all try and do this together. And obviously our breath rhythm is going to be slightly different, but hopefully we can kind of follow each other as much as we can. So nice deep inhale through the nose. Pause the breath. Now that sharp, short inhale. Pause the breath. Lungs are full. Exhale through your teeth. Imagine as you're doing this, it's like a tire deflating, all of your stress leaving your body. Next round. Inhale. Pause. Sharp inhale, short. Exhale through the teeth. Inhale. Pause. Sharp inhale. Pause. Exhale. Inhale. Pause. Sharp inhale. Pause. Exhale. Feel the stress leaving your body. Inhale. Pause. Sharp inhale. Pause. Exhale. Inhale. Pause the breath. Sharp inhale. Pause the breath. Exhale. One more round. Inhale. Pause. Sharp inhale. Pause. Exhale. Beautiful. And then just let your breath come back to a nice natural rhythm. Beautiful, really nice. So if your eyes are closed, just come with your eyes open. Lean back into the hands again, and then give your legs a good shake out any way that feels good for you. And you think about that breath, well, just have a little reflection. How do you feel? So that idea that when we feel overwhelmed and stressed that we try and think our way out of it, it ain't going to work because the brain is already overloaded. And the breath is the door, the breath is the key. And a little breath like that can make such a big difference. One of my friends was telling me that he was having a severe panic attack the other week, and he used that breath, and he said it worked for him. It took a little bit of time, but he persevered, and then he could get on with the rest of his day. You know, we're not saying that everything was perfect in his day, but the breath worked for him. So pranayama can be so powerful. All right, let's come and stand again. Nice. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way. And then come to stand on your mat. If you've got a mat, you don't have to even have a mat, do you? Again, same thing again. Feet are hip distance apart. So we're going to do this movement where we're going to clasp the hands together, and then you're going to bring the arms up. So you'll have a nice generous bend in the knees. This is your inhale, and this is your exhale. Inhale up, exhale down. Really slowly. See how deeply you can breathe. Inhale here, exhale here. Big circles. Doesn't matter which way you're going. Inhale up, exhale down. Breathe into your hips and your lower back. It might be that you just come down here You kind of do like little half movements. That's good. Don't strain. It shouldn't feel strained. It shouldn't feel restricted. You shouldn't feel any pain whatsoever. But use your breath to power the movement and make it as gentle or as energizing as feels good for you. Come back to center on this next inhale and then just swap it out. Come back the other way. We'll probably do, I don't know, 7 or 8 complete circles. Two more. Come back to center and then bring the hands down. Nice. Give your legs a little shake out. Give your shoulders a little wriggle, whatever feels good. And then again, feet about hip distance apart. Take an inhale. Sweep your arms up. I'm just going to step back so you can see my hands. And then hold onto the left wrist with the right hand. Take an inhale to here, just to find some length. And then just bend over to the right. Little bend. Nice inhale, full exhale. Inhale and exhale. You don't have to bounce or move quickly. Inhale to center, swap over, hold on to the right wrist with the left hand. Inhale to find length, and then exhale to bend over to the left. Inhale into center, and then exhaling into your side bend. Just little movements here. And move at a kind of a freeing rhythm. Anything that works for you. You can stay here for a few breaths if you wanted to. You can come back to center and find length in your spine. Come back to center on an inhale, and then exhale, bring the hands down. Nice. Give the shoulders a little shake, and then notice how that feels side to side. All right. So we're going to do a little side to side movement. So we're going to inhale right onto the left, exhale left arm to the right. So that's going to be your movement. Again, I'll move back a little bit so you can see my fingers. So inhale left, exhale right. And just let the head go with the movement. Nice, powerful breath. Three more either side. Top palm up, bring it down. Nice. Palms face forward, big deep inhale. And a full release and exhale. Nice. One more like that. Deep inhale. And a full release and exhale. Beautiful. Then we're going to come down on our backs. All right, so come down any way that feels good. When you arrive, maybe bring your hand out behind you. Make sure you scoot your tailbone under. And then just lie down on your mat and then hook your knees in towards your belly. And then maybe just rock out side to side, maybe a little bit backwards and forwards, whatever feels good for you. And we'll do a few nourishing poses here. Hold them for a little bit longer. And let's get into the hips and the lower spine a little bit more. So from here, bring your soles of the feet down onto the floor. Nice. Bring your palms face down by your hips. Do this really slowly. Then lengthen your spine down into your mat. Really press your lower spine down. Kind of engage your lower spine and your hips. From here, take an inhale. Press into your feet. Roll up and come into bridge pose. And then as you exhale, roll all the way back down. You don't have to do this in a kind of energetic way, really gentle. Inhaling up, pressing into all four corners of your feet. Exhaling, curling the tailbone and rolling all the way back down. Little movements. Inhale up. Exhale down. Three more like that. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. One more like that. Nice deep inhale up. And the full exhale down. Beautiful. Nice. And then walk your feet nice and wide. and then bring your knees to touch. And then as you do that, lengthen your arms out and have a little wriggle through your shoulders, kind of stretch the fingertips away from each other. Feel your engagement in your shoulders, your upper back maybe, back of the neck is nice and long. And then from here, now separate your knees, but keep your feet where they are if you can. You might need to walk them in a little bit. And then just drop your knees over to the right. And then look over to the left. Come into a nice wide leg twist. Inhaling. Exhaling. Take one more complete round of breath. Nice deep, rich inhale. And full release exhale. Inhale, come back to center. And then just drop the knees over to the left. As you do that, if it feels okay, turn your gaze over to the right. Take a few nourishing breaths here in a twist towards the end of the class. It's a really beautiful pose to come into. And realize the whole length of the back body. Take 2 more complete rounds of breath. And when you're ready, inhale, come all the way back to center. And then hug your knees back in towards your belly. Nice, beautiful. And then lengthen your legs down your mat and come into your final resting posture. We've got plenty of time here today. Come into your Shavasana that suits you. And try and drop into some stillness and just commit to the next few minutes. And then if you just stay here just for the next couple of minutes, I'm just going to read something to you towards the end of this practice. Try and stay as still as you can be. It says, we live in a culture that constantly bombards us with contrary messages. On one hand, we are forever being sneakily encouraged to believe that we're falling short and that happiness can be achieved if only we were to eat better or look sharper or work harder. Yet on the other hand, we're always being told that we deserve to be limitlessly indulged, that we're worth it, that we should spoil ourselves. So it's little surprise that so many of us get trapped in a cycle of self-flagellation and self-indulgence. Fatty diets followed by binges, ridiculous overwork followed by expensive spa breaks. And too often, yoga, at least superficially, can find itself slipping into either camp, either in the form of a punishing hot aerobics-like class, or at the other extreme, simply another form of me time, like a popcorn movie or a pedicure, both of which I love, by the way. But the point of the practice is its capacity to break you out of the denial indulgence cycle by rebalancing your relationship with yourself. And this is done through authentic self-care, which is genuinely and profoundly, maybe even life-changingly nourishing. And that's because it's the product of authentically listening to your body, your mind, and your heart, a kind of deep inquiry into where you are and in there and then. Because we're not always the same, and there's no reason we should be. All of it exists in cycles, from the moment-to-moment cycle of our breath to the grand cycle of life, and plenty more in between. The truth of the matter, though, is that you won't know what is truly what you want until you listen. It's only then that you're able to tune into what you need. And it's actually the nature of this inquiry, radical attention, total openness and non-judgment, that means it simply isn't a diagnostic tool, but also a form of future-proofing, a way of making sure that you do your best not to get run down in the first place. And this is the true purpose of self-care. And the thing that elevates it from mere individualism into a collective good, well, it's this: looking after yourself, harnessing the genuinely calming power of your breath, taking steps to sleep right, avoiding burnout, finding balance. And it lightens the load on the healthcare system and just generally adds to the gaiety of the nation. So self-care isn't selfish, it's essential to society's well-being. So with that in mind, if you haven't already, just bring a little bit of movement back into your body. And maybe that's through your fingers and your toes. Nice. And then when you're ready, come back to a seated position. And you can do that any way you want. Maybe just push over to one side, or you can roll up. Nice. And we'll find ourselves sat in a seated position. Yeah, it's a nice one, Lisa, isn't it? The breathing out through the teeth. It's something to do with the sound as well. It kind of genuinely feels like you are de-stressing the body. Not genuinely feels like it, you are de-stressing the body, because the breath is everything, right? And it's a really effective way to kind of just let it go instead of using this, which doesn't work, right? All right, rub your hands together at heart center. Beautiful work today, everybody. Thank you for joining. And then from here, bring your left hand on your heart, your right hand onto your left hand, and then just appreciate yourself. Everything you do, for turning up, for getting on your mat, even if you do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, it's all part of the practice. Nice. Maybe soften your hands into a prayer of a wholehearted bow. Wish yourself well, wish everybody else well. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. And that's the book. It is Yoga, Manual for Life by Naomi Anand. Beautiful book. Really, really beautiful book. And it's got things like nice pictures in here. And then it's also got, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's kind of got flows. So you can go through your own kind of flow, or you can just make it up, right? That's what I do. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I shall return next week with book in hand, hopefully with a little bit more wisdom from Naomi, and I'll try and put a little bit of mine in as well. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy the sun if it's shining where you are. Bye, everyone. See you later.